You may have noticed the speed limits have gone up across the province, and that started many a conversation, like the one in this week's Hot Button.
Hello and welcome to Hot Button. Today we're going to be talking about speed limits. Now, many of the highway speed limits across BC have gone up to almost 120 kilometers per hour. And do you think this is a risk? Is this a good thing? Do you think this is going to cause more accidents? And I personally think that it's going to take a couple weeks for people to come into effect, because I was driving from Langley to Chilliwack and people were still going the old 100 kilometers per hour, and now it's up to 120, and I think it might cause more accidents because people are trying to go faster than the other people.
I think it might actually be more realistic in terms of how fast drivers actually go. The main flow of traffic, from my experience, is usually between 110, 115 kilometers, I would say. My one concern would be that with the speed limit, when it was 100, people are already driving up to 20 kilometers above that limit. So with that being said, with this new limit, does that mean drivers are now going to be going up to 140 kilometers?
I completely agree, especially on the Coquihalla, because that's one of the most dangerous places to drive on. But I think I might be the only one thinking this, because 81% of the people in the Lower Mainland have actually said they're pro for the speed limit changes.
Yeah, I would definitely be within that 81%.
Yeah.
In a Road BC article, it says that speed is not the only factor when it comes to car accidents. The killer is actually when you add a second factor, such as driving under the influence or even using your cell phone while driving. So basically, if you follow the law and adhere to the actual speed limit, this might actually be a good thing.
Yeah, that's true. But what about speed or factors that you can't control, like bad weather conditions? That's a huge thing in Vancouver, or the Lower Mainland, because we constantly have a lot of rain. And the Coquihalla is always being shut down during the winter because of snow or black ice. And we're always being told to slow down, and then they increase the speed limits. Like, what's that about?
I do see your point, but I think the logic for that would still apply even with the higher speed limits. For instance, when you take your driving test, it says that the speed limits are for ideal driving conditions. So even though the limits have been increased, you would not want to be driving 120 on a cold December night.
I think I would have a panic attack if I was driving 120 on a cold December night. But what I think it really comes down to is following the law and really using your own judgment when it comes to following the speed limits. And also, another big thing to avoid other people's road rage is stay in the right lane if you're not passing. Only use the left-hand lane for passing.
That annoys me so much. I cannot even begin to tell you. When the driver is in the left lane and they just decide to stay there and go as slow as they possibly can. In the States, there's actually a law which says that if you drive in the left lane or use it for anything other than passing, you could actually get a ticket. And it's also in the works of coming to Canada.
Really? Oh, good. That's amazing. That's going to, I think, limit a lot of the vehicle accidents, especially rear enders, because on the highway, it's terrifying to watch. When people go like a foot away from your car, it's so scary. So just stay in the right-hand lane if you're not passing.
So if you're prone to harassing drivers by tailgating them, it might be time to change your habits. But we want to know, what do you think? Do you think the increase in speed limits is a good or bad thing? Do you think it's going to increase or decrease car accidents? Connect with us through Facebook and Twitter. Thank you for watching. We will see you on the next episode of Hot Button.